Officials close to the negotiations say there are sharp differences between the two sides, and there's already talk about extending the deadline. That's triggering calls for tougher sanctions against Iran in Washington. Want to go live to Vienna, bring in senior international correspondent Nick Robertson. Any progress at all here, Nick?
Well, there's another trilateral meeting that Secretary of State John Kerry is involved in right now with the chief Iranian negotiator, the Foreign Minister Zarif, and the EU top negotiator here, Catherine Ashton. That's the second of these meetings that Secretary Kerry has had. He met with the pair of them in a trilateral just after he got off the plane yesterday. Certainly, what we're understanding is they're trying to bridge and close the gaps and close the differences. We've been told that a lot of the sort of technical agenda here has pretty much been agreed, but the tough points on the negotiation are still outstanding. The Russian deputy foreign minister said yesterday that the meetings being held are in a tense situation, that the negotiations and talks are very tough. You had the British foreign secretary, the French foreign minister arriving in today. British foreign secretary has said that he feels that at the moment the best that can be hoped for, and this is if there's some progress in the next couple of days, is for an extension to these talks. Secretary Kerry is saying he's not looking for an extension right now. He's looking to meet the deadline on Monday, but he said we want a deal, but not any deal, and certainly whatever deal it is has to close down Iran's possible pathways to making a bomb, and that's something that the International Atomic Energy Agency here, their chief yesterday said, and he's the one that's been overseeing the UN resolution with Iran and the inspections with Iran recently. He says that his agency isn't yet convinced that Iran is only embarking on a sort of a peaceful nuclear course at the moment. So it's really tough talks and optimism. Not so good right now, Christine.
The response in Washington, I mean, you're hearing people in Washington who are really pushing for strengthening of sanctions. They don't like the way this is going.
And certainly the Iranians here, from their point of view, they've got to try to get the sanctions lifted. That's one of the sort of demands that the Iranian negotiating team has from Tehran behind them, that they need to get these banking sanctions, the UN sanctions, the energy sanctions, at least get the banking and UN sanctions lifted if they're going to make a deal here. And of course, that's not how the rest of the P5+6, the parties they're negotiating here with, see it. That there will be, if anything, just an incremental lifting of the sanctions, and of course sticking point for Iran as well is it wants to continue to have some enrichment, and that is almost a red line here as well. Christine?
All right, Nick Robertson again, of course.